my dolls, welcome back to my channel. My name is Bailey, if you don't already know. Yeah, if you hear, I'm sure you won't because I have a mic, but if you hear like little birds chirping or whatever, I have some fun little audio going on in the back just to add some ambiance. Welcome back to my channel. On my channel, we talk about spirituality, self-development, and just discovery of the soul and all things that have to do with the intertwinings of how we are connected to this earth and how to dive into our feminine energy and all the good, fun, giddy, girly stuff. And I just love talking about this kinds of stuff. And that is pretty much what my channel and my podcast is about. So if you are diving more into your spiritual journey or you're already in it, I recommend to subscribe to my podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. So in today's video, as you read the title, are different ways that I incorporate rest. So I feel that in today's society, and not I feel, I know that in today's society, rest is definitely looked at as something that should be negative and something that, is lazy and procrastination and XYZ. But I really do feel like that rest is something that can be productive. We can have productive rest. And we really can incorporate rest in a way that is feminine and not so masculine and not such a masculine dominated world. We don't have to work hard constantly all the time. We don't constantly have to be in hustle mode. We don't constantly have to be making money. We don't constantly have to be in such a patriarchal mindset. We really actually can flip the script and be more feminine, be more light, be more energetic, be more creative, and still be able to receive the patriarchal positives, which is pretty much just money. But I really do feel like that there is a way that we can incorporate more rest into our daily lives. And this video is not just for women. I don't even know if men are watching this video, but this video is not just for women. We all have masculine and feminine energy. And I really do feel that more feminine energy needs to be incorporated into this world. And that's why I'm making videos like this and making podcasts, because I really do feel that it should be normalized that us women, especially, we're so much in our masculine these days, that we dive more deep into our feminine and that we look more inward and realize, maybe I feel this way because I haven't slept for 3 days, or maybe I feel this way because like I haven't been honoring my cycles, or maybe I feel this way because X, Y, and Z. So I really do feel like there are ways that we can incorporate different kinds of rest into kind of intuitively deciding what kind of rest we need. And I was actually told this by one of my friends. Um we were talking about how I just was just telling her that I need to rest, but like I also feel so creative. So I was telling her how I just am like trying to be creative while I'm also trying to implement rest. And she was telling me how there's different kinds of rest that she learned about. And I was like, different kinds of rest? What do you mean? I've never known of this. So I looked up different kinds of rest, and little do we know, there are many different types of rest. So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about the different kinds of rest that I incorporate into my daily life, try to. And in seasons where I'm about to get my period, or in seasons when it's a busy season and I have only a night or a day to myself, these are the kinds of rest that I do to reset and recharge for my energetic, my spiritual, and physical body. So, because we do have different kinds of bodies attached to us energetically, spiritually, mentally, and physically. So, obviously, there's physical rest. So, I feel that physical rest is a tough one because a lot of us have normal, regular 9 to 5 jobs, restaurant jobs, and they are obviously the kinds of jobs where we can't necessarily take time off for our period, or we can't take time off, obviously, unless we're super duper sick. And it is unfortunate that this patriarchal environment and society doesn't see women's cycles as something that is important or as something that is crucial for us to rest, but little do they know it is. Okay. But it is true that we do need physical rest before, during, and a little after our period. After our period, we do kind of get a little energy back in our, I forget the phase. I think it's follicular. I don't know. The phase after our period, we do start to get energy back, but during our luteal phase is the phase where we kind of start to want to sleep a little more, eat a little more, kind of incorporate more physical rest into our daily life, and then obviously during our period. So, what are some things that we can do even in the midst of having a regular job or children or whatever, to where we can't really incorporate the physical rest that we need? So examples I put is yoga, of course. I would say incorporate yoga into your daily life, but a lot of people don't have the accessibility or even want or even feel the need to. I personally feel the need to because I've been doing yoga for so many years that it's gone to a point where when I don't do yoga, I notice it physically in my body. And when I go to sleep with tension or when I go to sleep with just the tightness of my muscles, I definitely don't get as good of sleep and I don't have good dreams. So, if you are someone that doesn't normally practice yoga, but you're about to get your period, you're on your period, if you have a day to yourself, even if you have a couple hours to yourself, I would 100% recommend yoga and, of course, incorporating a nap. And of course, like these are just kind of like duh, but like it's so sad that in this type of system, in this type of society, those things are considered as not important or lazy or whatever the case is. But actually, those are things that we need to do for our physical health. And I really do feel that if I'm not reminding people of these things and the importance of these things, then it will just kind of keep getting pushed to the side and it'll just keep getting neglected by women and by men and just by the whole society to be able to just be like, oh no, like you should just go to work. Like if I have the day free, oh no, I'll just go to work. Like, no, there are days that you need to that extra hour of sleep. There are days where you deserve to take an hour long yoga practice and just be on the floor in child's pose for who knows how long you need it. Deepen that stretch in your back, maybe loosen up some of the muscles from maybe back pain from your cramps or something. Like, another example I have is pampering yourself. So if you have a bathtub, rest in your bathtub for an hour or so, read a book. Maybe if you don't have a bathtub, just take an extra long, warm shower and just soak in the goodness of the warm water and just the calming essence that comes with it. I really do feel like that it is crucial that we give ourselves the physical pampering that we deserve. I love taking an extra long shower, doing all the extra things. I love doing a face mask and doing all of these extra little things for yourself just shows that you're giving yourself extra self-care and self-love, and you're also making your body feel good. Next is mental rest. So me, for example, last week I had a very, very, very emotional week, and it made me mentally and physically, because I did a lot last weekend as well, but it made me mentally exhausted. Like I was mentally exhausted, and it definitely had an effect on kind of just like how I was socially, what I wanted to do. And it made me physically sick. Like it literally made me physically sick. I felt like I woke up with a fever. I truly didn't feel like myself. You know, when you wake up and you just don't feel in it, that's how I felt. I didn't feel in it. I just woke up and I was just like, I feel sick to my stomach. And mental rest is super important if you're, dealing with kids or if you're in school or you have a stressing job. Like having mental rest is super crucial so that way that your mental body can be able to recharge and rejuvenate. That way you can show up for your kids or for your job or for your school. So, what I do, meditation, of course. Meditation is kind of hard for some people to do. Meditation is definitely not everyone's jam the first time that they do it. And it is definitely something that was hard for me to get into, and it still honestly is hard for me to meditate sometimes. But it is something crucial for us to be able to dive into the pits of our mind and not necessarily dive into the pits of our mind, but kind of get out of our mind and into our body. And even though we meditate, we still experience thoughts. Thoughts still come in and out, in and out, in and out. It's important to remember that our thoughts aren't there to alter our physical body. Our thoughts are just thoughts. We're human beings. Human beings were given the ability to think, okay? Maybe cats and dogs and animals think, okay? Maybe they do, but we don't know that. We don't know that. They probably don't, okay? But we don't know if they think. So therefore, well, okay, obviously they think, but I don't think they have thoughts that we do. I don't think that they're thinking like I'm not good enough for this toy, Like I don't think that they're thinking that. I think that we have thoughts and they're not there to diminish us. They're not there to make us feel like we're not enough. We have the brain. The brain doesn't have us. I observe thoughts as going over a bridge when I meditate. When I meditate, I think if I have a bunch of thoughts just coming in and out, I either think of it coming in one ear and out the other, and honestly going like over my brain and out my ear. So I try to think of my thoughts as if they're in my head, if they're in my body, they're going over my brain like a bridge and then they're exiting out of my ear. That's how I try to think of thoughts when I meditate, because it is hard for us to meditate and kind of like not think, because that's the ultimate meditation rule, like have no thoughts, don't think. And of course you can get to that point, of course, if you do it enough and you practice enough, but as a beginner, it is it is a harder practice to incorporate, but you really have to just practice the breathing and practice envisioning the thoughts as not having so much control over you. You are your body, you are your vessel, you are not your thoughts. And another one that I put from mental rest is space from your phone, because our phones hold so much weight in a metaphorical sense. They hold so much news, they hold so much media, they hold so much, of course, like getting back to people. And there's just so much on our phones that can get us so wrapped up in consumerism. And I think that it's vital and important that we have space from our phone to really give ourselves a mental check, to be like, okay, I'm not thinking straight. I'm constantly feeling undeserving, not enough, confused, stuck. Constantly, I'm feeling all of these really scary feelings. And I'm doing the practices, I'm doing the meditation, I'm journaling, I'm meditating, I'm doing all these things. And I still have a mental block. And I personally feel that that mental block has something to do with the media that we consume in our phones. And if you can get space from your phone for a night, which I'm going to do after this video, but if you can get space from your phone for a night, like, you know what? I don't need to consume tonight. I really do just, oop, as I'm talking about phones, I really do just want to read my book tonight. I really do just want to watch a good movie, watch a good show. I really do just want to like practice my guitar. Like, I do want to do something else tonight that doesn't involve my phone. And I think that it is vital that we incorporate space from our phone weekly. I would even say daily, but I know a lot of us have different lifestyles. I know I couldn't do it daily because obviously I want to pursue social media, so that kind of means consuming it in a bit of a way. You don't have to consume social media in order to do it, but it's a part of the game, I feel. And maybe yeah, I'm in a position in life where I'm like, Bailey, actually no, it doesn't. You don't have to consume social media to upload on it. It's true. You don't. I am just also a consumer at the same time. So that's why it's very vital for me to just be honest and vulnerable with myself. I do consume social media more than I'd like to admit. And I think that it's vital that I take daily space from my phone, even if it's an hour to 2 hours, just cooking something, or maybe an hour before bed, just not going on my phone and reading a book, stretching, like intentional time away from your phone is crucial for mental space, to release those mental blockages that keep us so wrapped up in TikTok and Instagram and all those negative apps. Another kind of rest that I would mention is emotional rest. Emotional rest can have to do with maybe a breakup. Maybe you're drained from a breakup that you went through. Maybe you're drained because of a fight you've had with your friend, or maybe you are just emotionally drained by the situation or the environment that you're in. It's draining you and it's leaving you empty. It's leaving you feeling like you have nothing left to offer. You know what? I'm going to light an incense. Hold on. Emotional drainage can feel, it can feel like how you feel whenever you kind of leave that one friend or that partner that kind of makes you feel a little like drained and you're like, I'm exhausted. Okay. I feel that having emotional rest is crucial for us to be able to devote time to our relationships with our family, our relationships with our friends, our relationship in general with a partner. I think emotional rest is crucial. So examples I put is solitude, so obviously spending time alone, and spending time in nature and journaling. Because if we can kind of journal maybe why we feel this way about this person, or maybe why we feel how we feel in general. Maybe you're just like, I've been so tired recently and I don't know why. And you can journal out kind of like what has been leaving feeling me drained? What has me feeling like my cup's half empty? What has been making me feel like I'm worth nothing better than the situation that I have right in front of me? If we can figure out these little clues that's intertwining with why we feel the way we feel about ourselves, we can really incorporate why we feel this way by solitude, and especially in nature, because nature is just the one place where you can really collect all your thoughts, because the earth's energy is grounding you and the earth's energy is connecting you with her. And as soon as you can connect with her in a meditative healing aspect, the earth can really communicate to you maybe why you feel the way you feel around a certain person or around a certain situation. Like nature is so smart and it's so quiet at the same time. And it's really important that we spend time alone, spend time in solitude, in nature, journal out why we feel the way we feel. And as soon as we do all that, because it's not a lot of work, but as soon as we do that, we kind of realize how our relationships become just a tad bit brighter and just a tad bit lighter and a tad bit more exhilarating and exciting, because we're able to be like, you know what? I'm fulfilled. I'm fulfilled because you've had the time to yourself. You've had the solitude. You've had the internal work that you have done for yourself. So that way, whenever you're around other people, you're not trying to constantly analyze, wait, am I doing this wrong? Wait, did I say something offensive? Wait, blah, 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 blah. Like you're actually like, wait, you know what? I've done the work. Spent some time alone. I figured out what I need to do for myself. So now when I hang around this person, or even these family members, I can be less attached to the outcome and more detached from how I feel like I'm supposed to be. Another kind of rest I put is sensory rest. So that includes taking baths, a quiet walk, reading. I think sensory rest has something to do with like consumerism, like constantly consuming the news, constantly consuming a movie, constantly consuming a YouTube video or a podcast. This is also the kind of rest that I need, because I really do be consuming. Like if I'm not like listening to something and I just hear pure quiet, I'm just kind of like, I don't know what it is. It's definitely something I need to work on, because I, for some reason, cannot be in silence for too long. Like I always need to fall asleep to like sleep sounds. I always need to be like cooking with some sort of music or video on in the background. I need to even shower with like just constant noise. Like I feel like I constantly need to be listening to something. Like even now, like I have this thing on in the background, the chirping of the birds and just like a nature garden. Like it is tranquil, it is peaceful, but I do constantly feel the need to be listening to something. So I think this kind of rest is just incorporating being able to take a bath and just sit in silence. Being able to go on a walk without headphones, without a phone, and just embrace in the presence of nature. Reading a book and not needing your phone and not needing external like consumerism. I want to know if I'm using that word right. The belief that the excessive consumption of goods has a positive effect on the economy that companies should owe. I guess I guess consumerism kind of has to do more about products than consuming social media, but I feel that this kind of rest is incorporating the fact that you don't need to constantly be listening to something. You don't constantly need to be wrapped up in something in your head with your eyes, with your ears. You can like listen to peaceful things. You can actually spend time in silence. You can actually cook without music. You can actually go on a walk without your phone. Like, you don't constantly need to be wrapped up in the senses. Creative rest. So this one's a fun one because I feel like we constantly feel like we need, especially as if you want to be a content creator or if you want to be someone that, like an artist, whether it be a musician or like a painter, we constantly feel the need to be creating. Like, we constantly feel like, okay, I need something new today. I need to create something new today. I need to pop out with something new. I need to pop out with something amazing. I need to, like, we constantly feel like if we're not coming up with something new, fresh, and amazing, then we are doing something wrong. Or maybe that's just me. I don't know. But if you're the kind of creator like me, then I really do feel like I constantly need to be coming up with a new creative idea, or else like I'm gonna run dry and no one's ever gonna care about me. But I think creative rest is very important. That way, that when those creative ideas come up, we're able to know how to produce them. Like, I think creative rest is important because that way, whenever we do get an opportunity to express our creativity, we are able to show up with the utmost vulnerable, authentic version of ourselves because we were able to incorporate the creative rest. And so, what I put is a new hobby, taking a break, and a creative activity that we enjoy. Because sometimes we see our creative activity as maybe even a job. Maybe it's your job to write songs or do paintings for people or write for people. Maybe it's your job to, and maybe you love it. Like, maybe it is a creative endeavor that you love, that you make money off of it, but sometimes it gets exhausting. Like, sometimes you might be paid to write children's books, I don't know, and maybe it's also a passion, but you do it all the time, all day. Sometimes it gets a little exhausting. You're like, you know what, like, I need rest from this. Taking a break is very vital, very important for the creative process. And I also think picking up a new hobby, that way that it sparks inspiration for our new creative endeavor. That way that it sparks something new within our creative process that we wouldn't have noticed if we did maybe just constantly brainstorm, constantly write, constantly draw. Like, maybe if we take a break and we pick up something else, then we'll be able to receive different kinds of creative information. Guys, I'm so sad because I was on a roll and then the audio cut out. That breaks my heart. It really does. I was on a roll, y'all. I'm not even kidding. The ideas still run fresh in our brain. So, whatever. Anyway, so as I was saying about creative rest, so it's vital that we experience new hobbies because once we receive the information of new inspiration and new creativity, then our ideas just come out so much better than we ever could have imagined because we took that creative rest to pick up a new hobby. Or I think an example that I gave was, say you're a chef and maybe you cook all week, all day, every week. So sometimes it's nice to maybe go out a couple nights a week and then you get something, your partner gets something, and then you figure out how to make a meal off of the two things that you guys got and be able to incorporate it together. Like, there are so many amazing creative things that you can get inspiration from. If you're a painter, say you go on a walk, you're at a creative block and something isn't connecting, like you keep looking at your blank canvas and you keep just not being able to figure out what to draw. So say you go on a walk and then you just see this beautiful scene. You see this beautiful tranquil garden. You see this little kid learning how to ride a bike with their mom or something. And you're able to look at those situations and figure out how to make it something beautiful out of what you saw through your creative eye. That way, we're able to look at situations and figure out how to alter them into our art. And I think that that is just one of the fun parts about being a creator is not necessarily knowing when the next idea is going to come up, or not necessarily knowing when you're going to receive your next big creative break. And that's why it's important that we do incorporate the rest, because that way we're not forcing the ideas. We're not forcing anything. It's just flowing through us with our feminine energy. Next, I have social rest. And what I included was solo dates, self care night, and saying no. And what I've said about this is social rest is vital because for me, I went out all last weekend. Like, I was out Friday through Sunday. Like, I was out last weekend. And so I was like doing my thing, talking to people, socializing. I was with my friend all weekend, like we did the damn thing. But then I got home and I literally felt sick. Like, I woke up with a fever. I was legit sick. And I was like just so drained from like the lack of sleep and then just like the up and go. And I was just like, wow, like I'm freaking tired. Like I just really realized how energetically hanging out and being social can be super exhausting, and it can get really just tiring. So, social rest is vital for you to be able to, of course, get your your solitude, your alone time, but also it's vital because that way you're able to show that you can show up for yourself. You can say no to plans that pop up if you are energetically exhausted. Say maybe you had just like an annoying customer at work and you're just dealing with people constantly all day every day, so whenever a friend says, hey, let's go out, you're like, you know what, saying no is very vital. Obviously, of course, you don't have to say no all the time because then people just won't be inviting you to things. It'll be like, you know what? I'm taking this night for myself. I'm going to have a self care night. I'm going to watch one of my favorite movies. I'm going to eat popcorn. I'm going to do a face mask. I'm going to not talk to anyone. I'm going to get space from my phone. I think it's very important for us to fill up our own cup so that way we're able to show up for other people and show up for people in ways that are with a full battery. Because if we just keep showing up for people and showing up to our workplace or showing up to school with a drained battery, then we're not able to put our best foot forward, and we're not able to show up with care and compassion. We're not able to show up for our kids or whatever the case is with utmost energy because we're depleted by constantly having to show up for people. We have to be able to show up for ourselves and show ourselves that we do love ourselves and we do care, to give ourselves some space and some grace. I think that's one thing that I should add on to this one is space is so important for you to have like the truest authentic connections, because if you can have space from these people and then whenever you do come together and it's a beautiful reunion of just laughing and talking and even crying, hugging it out, like I think being able to show up for yourself can make other relationships feel so exhilarating and just exciting. That way you have things to look forward to as well. I love when I get social rest and then I have like something going on next week. So I'm like, yo, I can literally be alone for like a whole last week and then I have a really fun concert to go to or something like that. Like I think it's really fun to spend like a chunk of time not really seeing people, not really doing much, and then whenever you do see people and do a lot of stuff, you feel energetic, you feel excited, you feel like, whoa, wait, like I actually want to socialize, I actually want to talk, I actually want to be funny, like you actually want to laugh at people's jokes. It's actually kind of more exhilarating to be out whenever you are rested. And so the last thing I have is spiritual rest. What I put for examples for spiritual rest is praying, meditation, intentional yoga, and reading. And the reading I meant for this spiritual rest is kind of reading books that have a little bit more of a spiritual weight. I think what I meant for reading for the sensory rest, to me that kind of meant reading more like fictional books. For this one, I mean reading more like nonfiction, reading more spiritual content, whether it has to do with self-development, or maybe for some people it has to do with the Bible, maybe for some people it has to do with like the Four Agreements types books. I think that it's important that we consume information that has to do with some sort of development within our spiritual growth. And I think that that is really important for spiritual rest, because that way we're resting our body, we're resting our mind, and we're reading something that is positive. We're reading something that is going to make us feel good. We're reading something that makes our heart feel at ease, and we're just like, wow, like I resonate with that. Like it's really nice reading books that have a calming effect on them. That way that we can take the information in and really ingest it. And I feel like praying and meditation go hand in hand, because I feel like when you're praying, you're meditating, and when you're meditating, you're praying. And take with that what you will, but I feel like if you're praying to the universe, like, I need assistance, I'm having doubts, like, I feel stuck, I feel a block, I feel confusion. Like, if you're admitting all of these things and you're praying it, of course, that is you praying to the universe that you need a sign. And maybe you've been having a season of anxiety and depression and doubt and fear. And maybe you're just constantly like, why are things happening to me? Like, maybe you're just in a season of constantly wondering why things are happening to you, not for you. And I think spiritual rest incorporates you being able to be like, you know what? I need to take the weight off of these feelings, and I need to give them to the universe. I need to pray about them and not have them weigh so much on my physical body, because the more that these anxieties and these sadnesses and these doubts and these fears weigh on our body, it'll cause physical distress, it'll cause distress within relationships, and it'll cause so many mental blockages that won't even let you be able to create. They won't let you be able to show up for the people you love. They won't let you be able to do things that you love to do, because you're so wrapped up in your own mind. So, praying is very vital if you are in a season of, even if you're not, maybe you love how life is going right now. Therefore, I didn't add this in there, but gratitude. Constant gratitude. Even if your situation feels like it is the deepest pit it can go, finding something to be grateful for within those deepest moments of sadness, fear, and doubt, even if you don't feel like you have anything to be grateful for, reminding yourself that you are put in these situations because you are choosing to learn something from it. And you have to choose to learn a lesson from the situation that you're in, because if we constantly feel like the victim, if we constantly feel that everything's happening to me, everything blah, 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 then we aren't able to look at the bigger picture of what the universe has for us. So I feel that sometimes you don't even need to say your prayers out loud. That's why I incorporated with meditation, because if we can meditate and feel all of our feelings, get out of our head and really just like feel what's going on. If we can breathe and just feel within our chest and within our gut, and just feel even in our lower back, feel what is going on, we'll receive information, we'll receive downloads of what maybe we didn't even know we needed to pray about. Maybe we didn't even know that we were mentally blocked. Maybe we didn't even know that we are receiving lessons and situations happening to us because we have to receive these things that are happening to us. I feel someone that is praying and meditating and communicating with the divine has a deeper connection with why things happen the way they do, and it makes you less reactive. I think the more reactive that we are, the more spiritual unrest we have. And the more spiritual unrest we have, the more likely that we are going to react at someone, yell at someone while driving, maybe even yell at your freaking ex, or abuse someone, lash out at someone that you didn't even mean to lash out at. Like, I think spiritual unrest has to do with a lot of feelings of anger and resentment, and just feelings that don't feelings that come up in situations that maybe you didn't even expect. Like, maybe you really didn't mean to yell at this person, maybe you really didn't mean to react at someone that way, but it's the fact that you're not spiritually connected with everything that's going on in the invisible world, that you just feel like everything's happening to you and everyone hates you. Constantly playing victim leaves you with such spiritual unrest that you don't even know that things are happening for you to learn, for you to grow. Things are happening for you so that you can learn a lesson. And if you choose to ignore these lessons, if you choose to decide and feel that everything is happening to you and nothing's working out for you and no person's good enough for you and this, that, and the third, if you're constantly feeling these feelings and playing victim, then you need some spiritual connection. You need some spiritual rest. And you need to be like, God, I'm so confused right now. I don't know why these are happening. I don't know why things are happening this way. I don't know why people are treating me this way, but God, I just need you to help me with this feeling. I need you to guide me. I need you to protect me, whatever the case is. And sometimes things don't happen right away. Sometimes, like, people think, oh, well, I prayed about it and nothing happened, so God's not real. And I'm like, okay, well, a flower doesn't grow in a day, like it's so cliche, but it's so true. Like, how do we expect God and the universe to work in our favor if we expect things to happen tomorrow? Like, we have to do the work and we have to build the relationship in order for things to actually start to grow and to develop. If we don't care and nurture for the relationship, then how is the relationship supposed to grow? That's like, it's like meeting someone on a date and then expecting them to like know all of your boundaries, how you like affection and know all of your love languages. It's like, how do I expect someone to know all of this about myself if I don't even decide to build the relationship with this person? It is the same thing with God and with the universe. If you don't decide to build a relationship and get to know the universe and therefore they get to know you, then nothing can truly grow if you don't decide and if you don't choose to build that relationship. And I put intentional yoga because of course any yoga can be intentional. Like, okay, I'm doing yoga to stretch, I'm doing yoga to work out my sore muscles, I'm doing this yoga to whatever. But I put intentional yoga because there are yoga practices for, there's yoga for sadness, there's yoga for grief. I'm sure that there is yoga for certain feelings that you might be feeling. And especially for us women on our periods, like there's definitely yoga for PMS, there's yoga for cramp relief, like there are yoga practices for different feelings. It really does help you connect back with your body because we truly are so connected. Our bodies are so smart. Our bodies really do be communicating to us, and we do be ignoring the things that our body is telling us sometimes because we have thoughts and our thoughts filter out what our body is trying to communicate us because we're like, oh no, it's fine, like whatever, but like our body's like, girl, hello. So there's a lot of things that we choose to ignore because our mind filters excuses and yada yada yada. So I think that I put intentional yoga so that we can actually get into our body and get into the feeling that is going on instead of letting the mind filter the feeling and actually being like, you know what? I'm fucking sad. And so being able to be like, whip out your mat and do yoga for sadness. And then actually just being able to feel your emotion while stretching your body, because we hold emotions in different parts of our bodies. So say, you hold emotion in your hips, so whenever you do certain stretches and you open up certain parts of your hips, you really can experience like, laughter or crying or, you know anger. Like, there are things that do come up whenever we stretch certain parts of our bodies. So I think that it is vital that we make sure that when we stretch, we have an intention and we have a mantra, you know. I will remain present within this practice. I want to remain present within this practice. Setting an intention before doing yoga, during yoga, after, it's very nice because that way we can connect our emotions with our body, and therefore we're doing something for our body, which is the yoga, And what we're doing for our body, we're doing for our emotional body. And the more you do yoga, the more you actually do realize how it is all connected and how it is all a union. But you really do have to do the practice. You really do have to put in the work. But once you put in the work, the spirit in general will notice that you are putting in the work and that you do care, and that you do care about the love for yourself, you do care about the love for your body, and you do care about the love for your soul. And spirit will see that, and spirit will be like, she deserves some good news. She deserves a miracle. She deserves this opportunity. I'm going to put this person in their lap. It'll happen in time. It won't all happen at once. But once things do happen in time, you can look at them and be like, I'm so glad that I did the work, because now I can show up for this person. Now I can show up for this job. Now I can show up and be my most authentic, vulnerable self and not feel like I'm being too much or not enough. That is all I have for you guys today. I really, really hope that you guys got some fun, useful information from this video, and I really hope that you guys do decide to rest, okay, chillax, and give yourself some grace. I really do hope that this video gave you some insight on how to look at yourself and be like, girl, it's okay. Take that nap. Girl, it's okay. Let's just not go to the gym today. Like, there are, of course, like some days, like we probably want to do that more than others, but of course, it is very important that we look inward and investigate what is going on the inside. That way, that we can show up for ourselves. And the more that we show up for ourselves, the more we can show up for the people that we love. And I think that that's why rest is so important. So I really hope that you guys got something out of this video. I really hope that you guys enjoyed and that you are able to incorporate any of these kinds of rests, all of these kinds of rests into your life. And if you just show up for yourself, at least for one of these rests, which I'm going to put them in the description just so that you guys are able to see it. If you're able to incorporate at least one of these rests within a month to 2 month span, I want to see your life change. I do. I want to see the vibration of this planet go up, and I want to see more people love themselves, and I want to see more people be happy. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I really hope you stay tuned for more, because Bailey is coming in hot 2025. And yeah, I love you guys so much. Stay away from your phones. I'll talk to you guys soon.